Hush.
All right, so it looks like we are live on Facebook and on YouTube.
And Instagram is loading.
Instagram's coming.
And we're good.
Stone's new dog. Stone got a dog yesterday. That's great.
It's beautiful.
But Stone's dog does not like live broadcasts, so we're just.
She wants to play.
Yeah, she wants to play, but
Shouldn't leave you
we're
at
just
home.
we're just gonna deal with the minor yelping and.
She'll calm
Be
down
right.
in a few minutes.
Yeah. New dog. She's like getting used to new situations, new stuff. That's cool. Okay.
And we're here. All right.
All right. So, welcome. Thanks everybody for being here. This is the final night of the launch week 2024. It's been an absolutely insane week. I know that Stone and I are sleep deprived, and we're happy that it's the last day. But it's been an exciting, very, very exciting week. Tons of stuff coming out to just really kind of, I don't know, elevate our brand and our machines to this kind of, kind of next level, like the tippy top of the hobby CNC space, if you will. So thank you all for being here, and thanks for tuning in all week. We're excited about it.
It has been an insane week, to say the least. But I feel like we really knocked this year out of the park.
Products have been amazing. I mean, like just next level.
Yeah, Trey, from the outside looking in, tell us, what are your thoughts on
sorry. I forgot to introduce Trey. Trey's here.
Hi.
Trey, tell us about yourself.
Well, first I had to grow a mustache overnight so I could be part of the crew. I mean, I couldn't miss out on that. But my name's Trey from Handcrafted by Trey. I've been in the CNC world for quite a while. I've been part of Onefinity for quite a while. I've considered both of these guys some really good friends of mine, and my mustache keeps slipping. But yeah, I mean, outside looking in at the week, it's been just astonishing. The ATC and the price of the ATC is phenomenal. I mean, that's just takeaway. Yeah, anybody can technically come out with a CNC or an ATC, but to add it for the price, I mean, that's a no-brainer. And then the Redline spindle and the kit and the pricing with the whole, especially today's launch.
Yeah, I mean, what we launched today, the price is literally the exact same as the Elite machine has been, but you get a free spindle, an ATC, and a tool setter. So you really can't beat that.
So basically what I paid 2 years ago, Yeah. Yeah, I've had it for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So
so the ATC, sorry, just going back to the ATC, like the reason that it's the price that it is because it's a completely different approach to a tool changer. Like it's not a tool changer the way that it has been done traditionally forever.
Oh yeah.
This is totally different. It doesn't use a pneumatic system. You don't. It blew my mind the first time that I saw it. I was like, holy crap! Like this is a huge deal.
Yeah, it's outside of the box thinking. But it's a no-brainer when you actually see it function. It's like
exactly
so simple. Like you said, a simple approach, but it's outside the box that others just weren't thinking about.
Yeah. Sorry, Stone, I cut you off.
No, it's okay. I don't remember what I was going to say, but it wasn't important.
Everything you say is important, Stone.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. But yeah, I mean, so aside from the ATC, Trey, give us your thoughts on all the things that we launched this week, just from the outside looking in kind of. Let's start, I guess, from the beginning, the airweight slats.
The airweight slats are awesome. I have a 24 by 48 here as well. The airweights in general is a great product, and then to be able to add it to the the QCW and all in one, I mean that's a great tag team. And if you haven't used the air weights or really been around it, it is a game changer for quick changes. You know, if you're doing repeatable cuts, it's awesome.
And then obviously we had the Ginny bits that same day, and those weren't new bits, but that bundle, that's a really good deal for all those bits. And I know recently here we had the CNC challenge that you were one of the hosts for, so you got to use those quite a bit.
I have the Ginny bits as well. I've been using them way before that challenge, but that challenge was awesome. I built that pull-up rig and walked through that, and that was pretty awesome.
Will that pull-up rig hold you?
It will, but it starts creeping and like cracking, and so like I back off a little bit.
I was curious because I saw that when you did the video, you used the kids, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's more for them.
Yeah,
probably should use one by stuff if I was to do it myself. But
it's the ultimate stress test. Just put yourself on something. Oh my gosh, what happened to your mustache?
Where'd this guy come from?
Who are you? You weren't invited to this live.
Oh man.
Oh,
being so we had the Ginny bits, the air weights. We had the 64-watt JTech laser, which is just
and the 64-watt and being able to select your powers between engraving and cutting. That that's an all-in-one. I keep saying the same thing, but it's an all-in-one game changer. Like everything this week has been just next level to what's been released before.
And Wednesday we did the Rotary, which is just a crazy thing in and of itself.
I think people have been asking since day one.
Yeah,
like, we're going to have a Rotary like this.
Well, once the fourth axis, they knew that they could add a fourth axis on the Masso. Like everybody was looking for it. They just were.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been multiple people on the forums that built their own and done different things, but like just a plug and play, surefire. This is,
and
then you can make little stones.
Not just plug and play, but it was it was designed with the same kind of design ethos that we use for our machines.
Well, plug and play as in it has a plug and you can use it. Yeah, there's programming and just like everything
but it's specifically designed using our same design ethos that we made our machines with, to have that kind of simplicity and that rigidity that people have kind of come to expect from Onefinity. And I think the addition made perfect sense. It just we could have just thrown something out there maybe a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago. But we really took our time to get it right and to make it like a fully, seamlessly integrated part of our ecosystem. So, that's why it took a little time. People were asking for it for a while. It took a little time, but I think that we took the time to make it right. And I think it shows, and people are going to see that when they start receiving their orders.
Well, that's where Onefinity shines from all the other CNC manufacturers. I mean, you have some of the DIY kits and stuff like that, and those kits, that people go into those to tinker with, and because they have that mindset going into them. But when people buy Onefinity, all the products work, and there's there's nothing else to say about it. It just works. So,
the whole idea behind it is everything is as simple, and I don't want to say like dummy proof, but it's as simple as it possibly could be, from setup to using the machine and the way everything connects. It just takes all of the guesswork out of it. You're not putting everything together from nuts and bolts. It's really straightforward.
And then all the catalogs and all the videos and the how-tos and instructions and the forum, the actual website forum, it's all there.
Mm-hmm. We try really hard to make sure everything is very well documented. So,
well, it is. I mean, and that, don't get me wrong, you always have those one-offs, but it's the people that don't go and dig for themselves that, those are the ones that have issues sometimes. But everything's there.
We try to make it so that people don't have to dig.
No,
that's it's just there for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's always there's a little bit of nuance to all of this, and so we make sure that if it's not just blatant right out there in front of your face, that it's we make it as easy as possible to find the information that you need, or to be able to provide the information that you need to do what you got to do.
Yeah, it's a simple search on the forum, and you can usually find something by a keyword.
Yeah, and the forum is amazing. Forum is
Well, and on our website, we have a full page dedicated to just manuals and support videos showing you how to do
ask
stuff.
questions.
So, but yeah, and then Thursday we had the Redline spindle kits announced for all of our Onefinity machines, not just the Elite series, but the Pro series, the original series. So that's a huge, huge upgrade, especially having the warranty and being fully supported. It makes it so much easier to start out with the setup you want to end up with. I think buy once, try once kind of deal.
Exactly.
But you're only crying for the amount of time that it takes for it to actually arrive to you and you get it set up and running.
Yeah.
And the
And
crying
then once you see it work,
using it.
once you see it work over the Makita or any of the other routers, it's
So I know that people we've got a decent amount of people here, and they all have questions. And I appreciate all of you who are here without questions, who just are here to hang out. But specifically, we are here to answer questions. So I'm going to put the first one that I saw that I think warrants addressing up on screen. It's from Mark. If getting this package, will a dust boot be which dust boot will be selected in the meantime? So I think that when they start shipping, we are supposed to have the dust boot that's meant to work with it available.
Yes, it will be available then. Obviously, right now we have the functional prototypes, but we don't have the production version, just because it takes time to get those things sent off and actually made in mass. But yeah, it'll be ready by the time all this stuff start shipping. So that won't be something you have to worry about. But I also saw another question about the dust boot, so I'll just answer that. But they were asking if there is a specific dust boot that is needed for this setup. As of right now, that is the only one that we can confirm works. That's not to say that there won't be others later down the line. I know when these things start getting out into the wild, people will come up with new stuff and aftermarket designs. But as of right now, our dust boot is the only one that we know works with it. So,
let's see. I'll throw this one up. Brake motor is included, right? So yes, it's going to come with any Z20 Z slider moving forward will come standard with a brake motor. Mm-hmm. Let's see about the 80 millimeters. It's the same motor.
So the motor itself, so the spindle body that you see here, that is the exact same physical product for the 1.5 or 2.2 kilowatt. It's just an electrical motor. The reason that you get more horsepower out of the 2.2 is because you have more energy that allows it to create more horsepower. So 220 and 110 are not the same. So that's the reason. I probably didn't explain that super well, but I'm not an electronics guy. So, but that's the difference, is the power that's going into it.
The same body, it just has a different motor inside the body. So the 80 millimeter is still going to be in the same housing, the Z slider and all that.
Yeah. Y'all give veteran discounts? Yes, we do.
Yes.
You'll be asked to verify with just like your military ID, to just verify that you are indeed a veteran. But yes, we do.
And that's just to clarify on that. The veteran discount only applies, I believe it's the US, Canada, the UK, and maybe Australia, but I'm not sure about that one. But the US, the UK, and Canada, 100%.
So, allies. is what you like we don't have a thing for like veterans of Guam, but like it's, but I don't know. Send us an email. We'll see. Just kidding. Don't. No, I was just kidding. Let me see. I want to push. That's cold. Nate, I'll have to give some more thought to that question and fully digest it, and then I might be able to answer it.
Nate, you're going to get more out of the 2.2 kilowatt. Short answer.
There we go.
2 is going to be 3 horse. The 1.5 is going to be just above 2 horse.
Let's see. U.S. Air Force. Here's Rick Blizzard, the best name, the most powerful, coolest name I've ever heard, is a Air Force veteran. So thank you for your service.
I'm still offended.
And I can't believe they didn't make you general with a name like that. Just saying.
Yeah, Trey, I don't know if you were here for that, but the other day Rick said he proclaims to have the best name, and I'm challenged.
I think it's agreement across the board.
Yeah, I'm going with it's true. I said factual statement.
Pro wrestler vibes.
Incredibles, I'm getting that kind of
turned against me.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, Lee. Hey, what's up, Lee? Lee said it's been a hell of a week. It sure has. Man, and nobody feels it more than Stone and I.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we're just riding that wave of adrenaline. It's been such a crazy week, and it's so like everything is so exciting. Every day we wake up and we're like, we've got a whole new thing to announce, and we got thousands of people that are going to be excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting for us too. It's tiresome, but it's rewarding and it's super exciting. And we're
Plus, Stone's been sick half the week.
Yeah.
Most of it.
He's been fighting it through it too. Like,
but we're good. Feeling mostly better now.
Nate's asking about the calendar. I think that's in the works. It's at least on the to-do list. So Trey, I don't know if you saw any of last night, but Becca suggested that we do a Onefinity calendar with Stone and I just being all sexy and stuff. I thought it was a great idea.
I think it's a perfect idea. I would back that.
Let's see.
Here we go. Does this sale
bundle available for pre-order tomorrow? Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of questions about what time everything goes live. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, everything will go live on our website. So all the products that we've announced this week, both the Pro Bundle and the Elite Bundle that we've announced, all that will be available for sale starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. So Eastern Standard Time.
Let's see. This is a good question, and it's it's worth addressing. Curious to learn if the ATC will run into any potential issues. I mean, anything could run into any potential issues on any product in any market ever. Even ATCs, how they're traditionally made, could potentially have issues. But this has been thoroughly tested by us and the people who developed it, and there are no more conceivable issues or no more foreseeable issues that exist with this than would exist with any other ATC system.
Yeah.
That's the short answer. I can't say definitively no, but
sure. Not to pick your question apart, but I mean, that is a very, very blanket statement question. I mean, anything could run into any potential issue. That's what makes it a potential issue. But there are not any foreseen issues, I guess, is the way to best answer that. Like Morgan said, there's been a lot of extensive testing. Even prior to us working directly with Rapid Change, Don was already working on using the ATCs that he had built on our original and Pro Series controllers, and we've worked with him to get the Elite Series working as well. So we're very confident in all of those systems.
Yeah. Like I feel like I need to make a point here that like we wouldn't announce the thing and we wouldn't put it out if we weren't confident in it. If we weren't confident in something, we wouldn't put it out to our customers, because trust me, we do like customer service stuff. We don't want to deal with problems. We want to make sure that like whatever we're putting out is good. So if we put it out there, we're confident that it's going to work 99.999% of the time, and maybe deal with just minor issues every once in a while. But there's nothing at this point that we foresee as being a problem.
Yeah. Here's another one. What's the pricing on the ATC if you want to add 4 more bits? So if you wanted to add 4 more tool racks, all you would do is you would just buy the second tool rack. So what's cool about this ATC is literally all it is this, and it plugs into the Masso, and that's it. You have to have a tool setter, but if you have one, you're either already have a tool setter or you get it with the first one, and then you would just add a second tool rack in there. And that's the same $625, I believe it is. There's so many new products and prices. It's kind of all gotten jumbled, but I believe it's $625. Yeah, $625. Thank you, Nate. So
we go back to this one just real quick. How long is the sale going to be for the ultimate package? I don't know. We don't know.
We haven't set an end date. It's kind of
it's a while supplies last kind of thing. So it's ever changing.
So there is not an end date yet, but as soon as that end date is decided, we will make an announcement so that people will be aware of however much time they have left to get those orders in.
Let's see. Can you just
can you buy the tool holders, or do you need the spindle, or can you just use the PWN spindle? So the PWN spindles should work. I don't have one, so I haven't tested it, but there's no reason that it shouldn't. All it is just a clockwise and counterclockwise spin up and spin down. So those are capable of that, so there's no reason it shouldn't work.
The collets are or like an industrial standard.
Yeah, it's just a standard ER20 collet. So
it's an industrial standard across the board. So that shouldn't make any difference there.
Yeah. Collets are universal standard stuff.
So yeah, if it's got an ER20
you add an additional 4 slots. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the ATC dust boot will ship with the ATC?
I'm not sure, honestly.
I think I seem to remember in discussions that it would, because we know that there's really no other dust boot that'll do it. So I seem to remember
on that, but
I'm gonna say a tentative probably. Tentative probably. We will send us a message or send us an email, and we will give back to you with a not tentative, but a more of a definitive probably or not probably on that. But it does make sense that the dust boot that is specifically designed to work with the ATC does ship with the ATC, because otherwise you got no dust collection, and that could cause some problems. So makes sense to me.
Here's another one. Will the upgraded spindle handle aluminum projects as well? Absolutely. So you can actually cut aluminum and brass or copper, whatever it may be. You can cut all of those things with the Makita router even.
I've done it.
It's going to be a lot easier to set it up and make sure you're getting a nice finish with the spindle. Obviously it's a trim router. It's really designed for wood, but like I said, you can use it for those softer metals. But a spindle is going to give you a lot better result.
The adjustability of a spindle is where it shines, and being able to fine tune the feeds and speeds so you get that clean look, like you're saying, and the chip rate and all that.
Exactly. You have exact control over the RPMs rather than a dial that's kind of a guess to where you're really at with the routers.
Yep.
Here we go. And this is, I put this up here because there's also another question from Kamani on Instagram. What's the big difference in air spindles versus water-cooled spindles aside from the liquid? And is air or water better? Aside from how they are cooled, they are the exact same. Other than the water cooled, I believe, is only available as a 2.2 kilowatt from Redline. And we don't actually carry that. So if you wanted a water cooled, you'd have to go directly to Redline. But other than how they are cooled and the voltage they're running on, there's no difference. The electronics are still going to be the same in the VFD. The spindle motors are going to be the same. So you're really just changing out how you're cooling it and potentially which voltage you're running at. But those are the differences there.
Functionally, you will not notice the difference. Watching the two of them side by side, wouldn't notice the difference.
Yeah, the only thing that would look different would be you have two water lines running out of the top of the spindle.
And somebody called me out. Guam is actually a U.S. territory, so there's one country that I thought was obscure, and it was like, nope, they're actually U.S. veterans.
Well, at least you have an answer.
Thank you. I'm dumb. I'm an idiot. So thank you. Is the stiffy included? The stiffy, I don't believe, is included in that.
It is not. So the Z20 with the braking motor comes standard on all the Elite machines, and the Elite upgrade kit will also come with that. But the stiffy is still an optional add-on.
Nate asked if Trey and Becca are going to be in the calendar. I think Becca's going to put her feet in it, and Trey's going to put just his upper lip and nose area with his fake mustache in the calendar. So short answer is yes.
I can't take Tracy.
I got more, so it's okay.
Okay, good.
And Edward also wanted to know if we found Waldo. So yes. Short answer, yes. So,
yeah, you told the people last night you were going to tell them where he is today.
All right, yeah. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your local downtown area. You're going to go to an alley, right? Just any old alley, and find the back door of a nightclub. And you're going to ask for Tony. Tony is going to bring you to a lower level, and that's where Waldo is hidden. So you're welcome. There you go.
I'm going to throw this Instagram question up here real quick, just so we don't miss it, because they're harder to keep track of. Grounded Woodworks said, I have the original woodworker machine. Will the new spindle still work with my machine? And also, will the fourth axis work as well? Yes and yes. Everything that we have announced this week will work on every single Onefinity machine. We really, really tried to focus on making sure that everything was compatible with everything, because obviously in the past, when we came out with the Elite machine, people were upset because there's certain things the Elite could do that the original and the Pro couldn't. So we really made sure to get everything where it worked on any of the systems, plug and play without any problems. So everything that you saw this week will work on every.
Let's see.
Here's another one. What's the largest diameter tool you could use in the ATC? Could you use a Forstner in it, say for Rayfix connectors? I would never recommend putting a non-CNC specific bit into your CNC. They're not made for it. They are not.
They can't handle the RPMs.
Yeah, they can't handle the RPMs. They are also just not. They're not designed to hold up to that type of that stress. It's completely different than putting it into a drill or a drill press. So I would never recommend putting a Forstner bit into a spindle or a router on a CNC.
How do additional ATCs connect to each other? Do they individually connect to the controller, or do they have to be linked together? They would be linked together, right?
I believe so, yes. I actually haven't done it myself. And this would have been a good question for us to have asked Dawn the other night. But yes, so they link together. We'll have a little piece that will actually connect to them. So you can just put them right next to each other. But yeah, they'll just connect together and will interface with each other. So,
and then Frank
I have a
asked when
question,
pre-orders go
for
live
the group.
tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time, I believe is what we said. So,
what were you saying, Trey? Do you have?
Well, my question is, and I've personally never ran into this, but how many times do you use more than 4 bits in a single project?
I don't think I ever. Well, no.
I think I did one project I used like 5 or 6 on, but yeah, I mean,
genuinely, I'm speaking this because I've only pretty much used maybe 3 tops, 4 if I need to flatten something as well. And which, I think it goes back to the Forstner. I think that the wording was confused. They may have been talking about a flattening bit. I think, Yeah,
if you can put up to a 1 inch, 27 millimeters is the answer, but that would be like a 1 inch flattening bit. So that would be the biggest anything you're going to put into there.
But I'm just saying with that's 4. So I see all the questions of adding more and more, but it's just like, I'm just processing it myself.
The biggest advantage of adding more tool racks is specifically like with the Masso, you have to assign tool numbers on the F4 page because it's using those tool numbers that it's pulling the data from the tool numbers in your software and the tool numbers that are loaded onto the controller. And that's how it knows which tool it's picking up. So, I mean, if you just don't want to change the tools for different jobs, obviously you can put more tools in there. And I mean, I feel like for most projects, you can get away with just about any project with, 3 or 4 tools for the most part. But if you do have more that you want to use, then you can get more tool racks and you can theoretically add as many as you want to. But I say as many as you want, but really you would have 3 tool racks would be the maximum you would have just because of the length of the axis.
And that's if you just never want to change a tool ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a handful of bits that I use for most of my projects. Having 12 different bits installed, I would probably get to all of them at some point, but most of the stuff that I do, I can do with I would say 7 or 8 would be the most.
No, and that's a respectable number. I was speaking per job and per job, but what Stone is saying as well is if you didn't have to go in on the F4 and change the tools, then that makes a little bit more sense to me. But at the same time, I want the masses to kind of understand that there's not a lot of reason to buy 2 unless you're just doing a lot.
Yeah. Nate had another question. It says the website shows them out of stock. So they're showing us out of stock because that's just the easiest way from a web development standpoint to not allow orders until you're ready to accept orders. So
10 a.m. Eastern time, they will all change from pre-order available on Monday the 25th to add to cart or whatever the button says.
Kamani asked if the air-cooled spindle blows air down or suck air in. Well, that would be terrible if it sucked air into the spin. If it sucked dust into your motor. No, it blows it out of the bottom. Yeah. Yeah, that would be awful if it would dust up into the motor. Can you order the calendars tomorrow? Well, we've got a little bit. I mean, how many hours do we? What time is it?
No, you can't order the calendar tomorrow. I mean, no, just no.
No, that's going to be a That's going to be a mid-December type of
Yeah, we'll
announcement.
we'll make that happen. I was gonna say we should get permission but I feel like we could do that. I feel like that's something that would just be fun. Actually, when Onefinity first started, we did a calendar of like the very early adopters. We just used some pictures from some of those people, but there were very, very limited amount of those. So, yeah, we'll make a calendar. That is a project that Morgan and I personally will take on. And
you have our word.
yeah, and this will live on YouTube, so you can hold this against us, I guess, if you really
It's
want
so
to.
silly. Oh man. I like it. I like how serious we are and can also be just completely goofy at the same time. Love it.
That's why I thought you would appreciate the mustache.
Here's another question. For ATC on build box controller with adapter box add-on, do you need to replace the stall homing with physical limit switches? So yes, because the ATC tolerance is going to require a little more exact positioning than homing or stall homing might allow for. I believe what we're going to do is we're actually just going to include those homing sensors with that adapter box. From what the conversation we had internally the other day was, I think that's the direction we're going with that. So if you get the adapter box, you'll get the homing sensors with it.
Yes, the adapter box will come with the homing sensors. So. Let's see. There discount should happen prior to the order.
I'm not sure what the previous question was, but this was up there. So ID, whoever ID is, do you care to
elaborate?
Elaborate. I'm going to put this one up. Yes. So before
Rob Stewart asked, well, I don't know where, there it is. Is the center on the fourth axis live or dead? The center will spin if live, not dead. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking there.
Oh, hey, Don's in here from Rapid Change.
Oh, Don.
So he's answering some questions. Max diameter for bits in the ATC is 1.2 inches. So just shy of 1.25.
Yeah.
Thank you, Don, for pitching in. We're glad you're here. You know way more about this than any of us. So,
what is the estimated shipping date? So I believe all of these bundles will ship sometime between mid-February and early March is when we are going to be starting shipping all of that. Just because obviously, like we said, these are all new things. We just released it. We've got to get all of these parts in and build the machines. But we are ready. We've been doing some prep work, trying to get as much of the stuff that we can get done ahead of time done so that when these orders start rolling in, we can get stuff out the door quickly.
Here's a good question. And I'm probably the least qualified to answer it, but I'm going to give it a shot. So do you need to manually set the Z-axis or do you pre-program the bits? So it works with the tool setter. So you program the location of the slots where all of your tools are going to be. And then every time it picks up a bit, it's going to come over and it's going to touch off of the tool setter. And that's going to tell it it's Z. That's going to set its Z location. Stone, am I totally wrong, or is that?
No, that's accurate. Right. So you can set the zero positions for X, Y, and Z manually or with the touch probe. But with the ATC, you're going to set up the first bit with the probe or manually, and then after that, it'll use the tool setter in between tool changes to recalculate the offset. So that's all it is. You still have to set the zeros. You don't have to do it for every bit change. You do it once, and then it's done for the entire file.
Jason's here dropping bangers. I just wanted to show that because I thought it was funny.
Nice use of freedom units. On Instagram, Colin Creative Works said, "I forgot the code word Oklahoma." It's okay because I'm pretty sure we all forgot it. What is the maximum length you could do with the rotary? So with the foreman or journeyman, it is going to be 37 inches and a 7-inch diameter. On the woodworker, it would be the same diameter, but it's going to be 21 inches. So. And then one more from Instagram. Really want a Onefinity, but can't justify the shipping of $2,400 to Australia. Is that likely to change anytime soon? So, to help you out here, we actually have a distributor in New Zealand. So that's a lot closer to you than Canada is. So maybe check out that. And that is, I'm blanking now. Mind Kits NZ. Mind Kits is the name of that website. They are a certified Onefinity distributor that we work with directly. So I would reach out to them and try to get a quote from them.
I thought we were working on somebody in Australia too.
I don't know. I think maybe, but we're not there.
We'll figure it out later. But Australia, we haven't forgotten about you. We're working on it. We want you guys to get machines with reasonable terms. So, let's see. I have a Rockler. Is this sufficient?
Just real quick, someone asked to confirm the email about info and the military discount should happen prior to the order. Yes. Send that before you place the order so they can make sure you get that all set up correctly.
So I have a Rockler. So if you have anything that's classified as a dust collector, it's going to be more than enough.
Yeah. I mean, you can get away with the shop vac.
Yes. And many of us do. So, and especially if you add like a dust deputy or any one of those kind of cyclone dust separators,
it's under.
Absolutely. Like even a small shop vac will do it for most people.
Yeah, because I even started off with a shop vac and then went to the Harbor Freight, line, and it was more than sufficient for a while.
Yeah, and people give Harbor Freight a bad rap, but like something as simple as like all a vacuum is a motor. It's just a motor. It's
with a propeller.
It spits it out the other. Like those are fine. Like the Harbor Freight ones, great. Yes. They might make a little bit more noise, but they do great. They suck up the dust. You're fine. We do really like the dust deputies, and we really like the surf prep. The surf prep dust extractors. Those are very, very like we use those every time we go to a show, and they just do like a beautiful job.
Yeah, that's what I use here in the shop most of the time too. But they just work really well, and I usually use mine with the Dust Deputy Low Pro Dream setup. Works great.
Yeah. So dust control with the ATC, there is a plan for that. So basically, when you really think about it, practically, you've got a dust boot that is sucking up air, sucking up everything that you're cutting. When it comes down over one of those towers that has one of your bits and collets in it, it's still sucking air and sucking dust. So when it comes down over that, it's everything that has landed in that tower, it's sucking that up. So basically every time you make a tool change, you are cleaning out your tool changer.
Yeah, so this is the dust boot, or the prototype of it, I guess. But it's large enough that the entire dust boot will actually go over the tool setter. So as you can see, it completely covers it up. So when that's going over there, unless you have some like insane commercial grade dust collector that should probably not be hobby CNC, you're not going to have a problem, because I don't know of any dust collectors out there that will actually suck a collet, a nut, and a bit out of there. If you could do that, that would be really impressive. But no, it shouldn't be an issue.
So one thing
yeah.
I'll hit on is I saw that it was a 2.5 inch on the prototype, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, I need 4. Well, that's not true. I've been using the 2.5 inch for the Rowdy Roman, and I went from a 4 to this 2.5, and it actually does. It seems that it does better than the straight 4 with the velocity. So I know that's going to be hit on a ton.
Yeah. I mean, we've been in business for 4 years as Onefinity, and we've been in business for 13 years as Suckit.
Yeah.
And the Suckit dust boot from day one has had a 2.5 inch dust port, and it's going to stay the same. So.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick, just want to throw this one up there. I know that we've already answered this, but yes, the Rotary will work on the Buildbotics version of the machine.
Mm-hmm. Cody asked, how many install videos did I have to make this year? So far, I've made 0. Well, I say that. I've made a lot of install videos, but none of this new stuff yet. So the madness is not over for me.
The madness is over because this is the week of Thanksgiving, and we have had a heck of a week. So we're gonna take it easy, for the next couple days. But then, all the once orders start shipping, we're gonna have install videos and instructional stuff for all this new stuff ready for when people start receiving their orders. So we're gonna be hard at work at that. Just to give you guys support and make sure give you direction. Make sure you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. What kind of lead times do we think we'll have on delivery? I wish I could give you an answer, but that is going to be determined by how many orders we get. So definitely try to get in there early tomorrow and get your order in quicker, so you'll be towards the front of the queue. But the longer you wait, the longer you're going to have to wait for your delivery. So, and then Tommy Duke asked, do we carry the Masso MPG pendant? We do not. There are several places you can get it, but whenever you order that, make sure that you do order the Masso version, because it is not a standard 5 volt. It runs on 24 volts. So I think just about every one of the ones you see on places like Amazon are 5 volt, and they will not function correctly.
I'm gonna throw this up there because the guy that was asking Stone ? Earlier provided some more clarity.
That makes a lot more sense.
Can it handle limestone? So the machine can handle dang near anything. It's more has to do with the tool that you're using, the cutting tool.
Well, and on top of that, the bigger thing there is if you're cutting stone, one, you need to have some sort of, not because it's going to get super hot, but because when you're cutting stone, you're creating a lot of tiny particles that are going to go everywhere. And when that stone dusts, it's basically like really fine sand. If that gets into the bearings or into the ball nut, things like that, that is going to wreak havoc on that. So I would not recommend cutting stone. I've done it once. I engraved a brick for somebody, and it was a nightmare to clean up. So I wouldn't do it.
Fair enough. Let's see. If we really need one, can we order a spindle directly from Redline for faster shipping? Because I know that Kamani does really need one.
Yeah, he does.
His spindle is shot because he
I've
bought
been on that thing for a week.
I have
longer than that, actually.
What their lead times are. Maybe, but I can't guarantee anything.
We have no idea.
But Kamani,
all we have control over is what we sell on our website. What
exactly.
They do, we don't know.
Shoot me a text, buddy.
Yeah, text us. We'll figure it out.
Do you get charged at the time you order, or when shipped? If shipped, do you have an ETA on when it would ship? Trying to decide when to start convincing my wife. So you are charged when you place the order. Yeah, so that's the answer to that. So better get to work on the wife, buddy.
You have
If you need to,
11
Glenn,
hours.
if you need to, just have her FaceTime me. Me and Stone will show her a few months of our calendar. It's like she'll be convinced in no time. Like, don't worry about it. It's no big deal.
On Instagram, DIY Fat Out asked, what do you suggest for those that have the X50 Journeyman who want the Masso upgrade, plus things like the ATC, but at first glance, the IPP upgrade to make the Elite system appears not to be cost effective versus buying new and trying to sell old equipment. So because of this kit that we've just released, if you want to upgrade to the Elite and you want the ATC, 100% buy a new machine, because you're going to get a free spindle, you're going to get the free ATC, you're going to get the free tool setter, and that's at the same price of a new machine. And I believe the upgrade kit right now is like $200 less than the machine. So definitely just go ahead. I would say sell the machine and just buy the new one. With this promo we've got going right now, you just can't beat it. Normally, if we didn't have this promo, I would say upgrade. But because of this deal and it coming in at such a low price point, that's the only way to go.
Real quick, I just want to throw this out there. If anybody has any questions for Trey specifically, because like Trey hadn't gotten much of a chance to like speak up during this thing, and he's taken his time to join us. So if anybody has any questions for Trey, whether they have to do anything to do with our launches this week or not, throw them in the comments. So I feel like I feel bad. I feel like Trey's just sitting there like,
oh, I'm fine.
Me and Stone do whatever like we do. There we go.
I'm laughing at your mustache, but I'm also laughing at Kamani.
Oh, I didn't see. I can't see anything.
Up in the top right corner, there's this thing that says comments. You see that? So if you click on that, it'll populate all the comments that we're getting here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
We should have told you that an hour ago.
I'll share a quick story about Trey. So I met Trey. It's not a very long story or a very interesting one, but I met Trey at it was AWFS one year, right?
At Workbench Con.
No, it was a Workbench Con. We met it in Vegas. We went to dinner. Yes, absolutely. We
Trey,
went
have you
to
ever
dinner.
been to AWFS?
One meme, sorry.
No.
Just another beautiful face with a mustache.
So have you ever been to AWFS?
Negative.
Never mind then.
What am I thinking? On Instagram, Rusty Boy Woodworks just said, "Who is Trey?" Trey is the person that is on the bottom of your screen right now.
Hopefully, they can see
crafted by Trey, and he is an awesome dude. Awesome. And I'm not just saying that because he's helping us out. Like Trey is a good friend.
No, 205 Tilly. I have the Craig table. As you can see here, the blue. I have the Craig table. Yeah, so I am not using the QCW. Not that there's anything wrong with it. The Craig table was just part of it.
Will the packages ship all at once, or will the accessories be shipped separately? If you order these with the machine, it will all ship together. If you're only ordering accessories, those will ship individually, or in a box together, I should say, with all of those accessories. One of the pages said if you have the 65Z20, you have to change, and you want to change to the 80, you can't, and you have to get a whole new mount. That was true for a bit, just so that we could manage our inventory, because it was very difficult to stock parts and keep them on the shelves just with the way machines were selling. But having released that model 2 years ago now, we're finally at a place that actually just about 2 weeks ago, we made listings for all of those mounts. So you can just buy the 80 or 65 millimeter mount. And the only thing you have to pay attention to is making sure you are selecting the correct mount. And then the Elite or Pro. There's 2 different SKUs, so make sure you get the correct SKU there. And this has come up a few times, but Dawn, could you in the chat just comment on how the second or third ATC tool rack would be connected, whether that would be a connection to the existing tool rack or that would be another connection on the Masso? Here you said that he's already answered it. They will plug into each other and link to maintain spacing. So there you go.
Here's another good question. What are some considerations on whether to add the stiffy or not for a hobbyist? It doesn't really matter what sort of level you consider yourself at. It matters what type of work you're doing and what sort of machinery you're running. So if you have a spindle, I would recommend a stiffy. It doesn't matter what sort of skill level or commitment level you have. I would say a stiffy adds a ton of rigidity, especially if you have a spindle mounted on your machine. It's not as important if you're running a trim router, but no matter what, it's going to add more rigidity, and that's going to give you cleaner cuts, more precision on every project. So
the big thing is
to dive into that just a little bit more. When you add a spindle, you're going to be able to add speed, and adding speed because you're able to cut through quicker and deeper, it's going to add that stiffness so it can't flex. There's a lot to it when adding a spindle with the stiffy. So again, like you said, with a trim router, you just can't go quite as fast. So it's not as, I mean, still would help. I'm not saying that, but if you're doing a spindle, it's a no-brainer.
The biggest thing there is like Trey was saying, the flex, the deflection. With the added weight, what's special about the X50 series stiffies is they're actually offset towards the back of the machine, so it counterbalances the spindle. But a lot of that is also dependent on your tooling. Like longer tools, you're going to get more deflection than you would with short tools. And the thicker the diameter of your bit, the more rigid that tool is going to be. So you're going to see less deflection there, which is also an added benefit of the spindle because you do have larger collet sizes.
This is interesting. So I bought a Pro Journeyman from a person, brand new, never opened, which is weird.
It happens a lot more than you would think.
Really?
I cannot tell you the amount of people who have emailed in 2 years later and said, I'm missing blah, blah, blah. I opened it a while back, but never put it together. Or,
dude, I cannot imagine buying something for several $1,000s and just being like, meh.
Yeah.
Meh. Just not going to, like, what?
Yeah. So,
oh, man. If I want to upgrade parts or full system, will this be a problem? I have an original buyer's contact if needed.
No. So what you need to do is you need to have the original buyer send an email to support@onefinitycnc.com as well as info@onefinitycnc.com. So email those 2 accounts, just one email, but to both of those accounts, have him or her send their information with the order number as well as your information so that we can transfer that into your name. But we have to get that confirmation from them just so we can transfer that, all of the purchase history, and that will allow you to upgrade. So,
and that's just to make sure that we know that you didn't sneak into their garage and sneak off with a 500-pound item without their knowledge, and
piece
try
by
to
piece.
transfer everything to your name.
will
the Z-Brake be a part of the Elite promo as well? The
So-
Z-Brake is part of every Elite machine
Yes.
moving forward from now on.
that is going
You
to
have
be
an Elite machine, the Z-Slider is going to have a brake motor, no questions.
So I do. Jerry Napier I'm using Aspire 12. There's a lot of really good programs out there. That's just what I've used Aspire for a super long time. That's just what I've fallen into. There's a lot of really good ones out there, but that is what I'm using at the moment.
Come on, he said it would be nice to leave my CNC in the box for 2 years money. Right? Just like spend, lots of money. Yeah, just leave it there for a while.
A couple Instagram questions. Will there be any deals on the spindles and Z sliders for people who already have the machines? So if you already have your machine, as far as the Z slider is the same. If you have the Pro or the Elite, it's still the same Z20. The only thing that changes is the braking motor. Unfortunately, we can only go back as far as the 1st of November. So if you ordered an Elite between the 1st of November and now, we're going back and retroactively reaching out to those people to take care of that if it's already shipped. If it hasn't shipped, we will just ship it with that installed. But if you already have your machine, unfortunately, that will not apply to you just because if we did that, we would go out of business. That's why it's a promotion. But for the spindle, you can get the marked down price that we will be launching tomorrow. So that is still a deal for you, just not the brake motor.
Maker Jace asked what I'm making on my Elite Foreman. So actually, in my stories and whatnot, I make a bunch of these kids' stools, step stools. Everything's datoed out for strength. And you can see all these little pockets and everything. So that is actually what I've been making. I still got to make the stairs for them all. Yeah, that's it.
There's a really good question on Instagram. And I feel like it's, we should address it. How long will the Pro models remain supported, or are they approaching the end of life?
So we just launched the Pro Series a year ago. That's actually our newest machine model that we've released. Obviously, the electronics we already had existing, but we have no plans of getting rid of that anytime soon.
So
we will support the products that we've sold for the life of the product. You have a 1-year warranty regardless of what products you're buying, but our support will last a lifetime. So
as long as you have the machine, anything you bought from us, we will continue to support it.
And I'm going to answer the other Instagram questions real quick, just so I don't lose them. Can the Rotary be driven by Carveco? Yes, Carveco Maker and Maker Plus will both support it. I believe they released that in their last software update. If it hasn't been released, maybe then no, it definitely has.
Yeah,
but yeah, they started last December really getting into that just because we had been working with them and told them, hey, we have this planned. So that is integrated in there. It's a wrap function. It's not true 4-axis machining technically, I guess, but it takes a 2D file and it will wrap it around the cylinder, or you can use a 3D file and do 3D carvings like the miniature version of myself I did. So yeah. And then what is a brake motor? It is the motor at the top of the Z-axis. And what it does is it prevents the spindle from dropping down when you press in the E-stop or turn off the machine. Because of the pitch of the ball screw, it drops rather quickly with that added weight. So that will prevent it from doing that. And is it recommended to upgrade your Z slider if going with an 80mm spindle? Yes, the Z20 is definitely the way to go if you are going to have an 80mm spindle. It's a lot beefier, but the back plates are twice as thick. There's a lot more metal there to support that extra weight, and you actually get a little more travel as well.
So for the spindle, I'll put it out there.
I think you clicked one because
it moved while I was clicking it.
One
So for the
below.
spindle RPM box, it's on the left. Can it be mounted on the right? It's on the left because there's a specific place for it to mount, built into the Masso controller. So it's it's a dedicated spot for it to mount on there.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like when it's removed. So obviously this bracket is coming out one direction. And if you look at the bottom, you have a plug here, and that is actually on a 90-degree angle. So it will only mount on the left side of the Masso. But if you don't want to put it there, you can also mount this to the side of the VFD enclosure. Yeah, so there's two threaded inserts on the back of there. Exactly. And that will just line up with those two mounting holes right there.
Estimated ETA on the Carveco post-processor support for the ATC. I think it's already there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's already there.
And if it's not there already, it will be there by the time you start shipping.
Estimated ETA right now.
Yeah.
Oh, Jared, thank you. It's good to see you both again. It's been a while since Patrick in San Diego. That was a couple of years ago.
We missed this one. Just to clarify, if you buy the Elite bundle, it will ship mid-February to March. So yes, it will all come together as one kit. It won't ship individually. So yeah, once everything is all ready, it will all come as one shipment.
I don't know about you guys. I think I'm about ready to call this thing.
Yeah.
I know that we've got to, there's still more questions, but I think if we stay here for, forever, if we stay here till 2-3 in the morning, the questions are just going to keep coming. So we got to cut it out at some point. So I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for coming again. We appreciate all of the questions and all the comments. If we did not answer your question, and if it's life or death, if you need to know before ordering something, send us an email. Get with us on our contact form on our website, and we will get some Nate Morgan get some more videos out there. It's been a very busy month, man.
So I just got a text from the higher ups.
Oh,
that be. And I was made aware that machines will ship as soon as they are ready, and the ATC and Spindle bundle will ship at a later date. So you don't have to wait to get your machine near as long. So the machine lead times will be what is on our website. I believe that's 3 to 4 weeks right now, and that might actually go down between now and then. And then the ATC and Spindle will ship as soon as they are ready. So you can get to machining before you get your ATC.
Awesome. So again, thank you guys so much for joining us. I honestly I can't believe that this many people have been with us for this long of a time. It's a long time for you guys to stick with us. So we really appreciate it. And if you didn't get your questions answered, send us a message. However you normally contact us, email or
and for questions about specific products, all of the lives that we have done this week are on our YouTube page. So if you have questions about a specific product, I would recommend going back and watching those, and more than likely we will have answered those questions.
Just like tonight, we've answered the same ones a few times, or different variations of the same. So, but
so what we're saying is
throughout the rest of the lives throughout the week have been very oriented towards that product, and they've all been great. So I will say that I missed the one with Becca last night, but yeah.
And we dragged Trey into this one that was just kind of like a throw whatever you have.
Thing. Must ask you a question. I keep going back to this. I may even keep it.
Just tell your family that that's who you are now, and they just have to learn to live with it.
Be like one of those videos. My daughter wouldn't have any clue who I was.
So what they're saying is go through roughly 7 to 8 hours of video, and you might find your question answered. But for real, no, just reach out to us, however you normally do, messages or emails or however, and we will answer your questions, all of them. But we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you, Trey, for coming and joining us, and dragged you into this for a really long time. But we appreciate you being here and having a mustache.
Oh, I'm here. I love you both, so I wouldn't miss it.
We appreciate you, man. Everybody else that's joined in this week, we appreciate y'all tuning in, listening to us, putting up with our shenanigans. But yeah, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time, get on that Onefinity website and get your stuff ordered. You guys, we hope you have a great week. Have a great Thanksgiving for those of you here in the U.S. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon.
All right. Y'all be good.
See ya.
Bye.